Hey guys, Snoopy here. Today I have a game with Tom from the Shut Up and Sit Down YouTube board game channel. Tom is a big fan of ARCs and I was excited to play a game with him. This is just a two-player game with leaders and lore. So I have the Agitator and my lore card is Keeper Solidarity. Tom has the Fuel Drinker and he has Mirror Plating. For setup, we're using Frontiers, which is a more advanced setup of the four options for two-player. We see that Tycoon has some resources on it. In two-player game, you put resources to kind of set a threshold to meet. So for Tycoon, there's 4 resources. So if you want first place, you have to have 5 or more icons. For Warlord, it has 1 weapon, meaning if you want first, you need 2 trophies. Otherwise, if you have 1 trophy, you're just going to get second place. And same thing with Empath. I started the game with Initiative, and so I played the 6 construction and declared Empath. And I built some things. I used my material to build up my fleet, and Tom's played the 3. And he's going to do similar things here. With 2-player, you have extra ships to start out, so you get an extra set of the C slot, and so you kind of have more space already claimed, and so it's easier to build out your building slots and things like that. Here we see the first aggression card, the 6 is played. We can see that Tom's using catapult movement just to get to the gate, and then he's gonna move all his ships here with another fuel. And one reason for this is that as Fuel Drinker, if Tycoon is declared, you're going to lose it all, and so it may make sense just to spend all your fuel immediately. But here we see him move all 5 of his ships into my Psionic Planet in Cluster 5. And I would probably just recommend leaving 1 ship in the gate so I can't immediately go behind him. We see him roll. The intercept does nothing because Agitator needs weapon icons to trigger. And so that's one reason why he can just go in and start blasting my fleet. But there's really nothing to raid. I only have a fuel and it has 3 keys. It may be tricky for him to get that. And he risks Psionic Outrage as well. And so he's gotten some early trophies. He's definitely hurt my initial fleet. And he's consolidated his. So now the question is, do you attack again? Do you use fuel? Or do you use movement? He's just going to use skirmish dice, and he gets a little unlucky here. But it's probably for the best because he almost destroyed my Psionic City with just skirmish dice. So he damaged my city. I have no ships there. He can tax it and get captives very easily now. I have no aggression cards, if you notice. But that's okay. I don't necessarily need aggression cards this first round. So let's see how we follow up. We use the administration card to pivot. That's going to let us get a weapon. So now we can now start doing intercept hits. And this is something I did mess up until the end of the game, where if I do intercept hits as Agitator, I do lose a weapon resource. And so that's something to keep in mind. So we've let Tom keep the initiative here, and now he's playing the 4. We played the 6, so there's a good chance he doesn't think we have the 5, and that's one reason why we played the 6. And so he's now taxing our Psionic City. He's getting a captive. He can now influence or tax some more. He's taxing his material planet, and he also has a relic city as well. And now he can do influence, or he can do that. As far as the court, we have just 3 cards in 2-player game. So we have Secret Order, Court Enforcers, and Material Cartel. Of these, Court Enforcers is probably the strongest. In 2-player game, with this setup, Material Cartel is only going to have 3 material resources on it if no one has anything. And so it's actually going to be lower than perhaps you expect. Well, we surpass here with the 5. We're probably just going to tax Psionic, because Empath is declared. And then that gives us 2 more options. Yeah, we could repair our city. There's no really point in that. We kind of want him to blow it up potentially. And so now the question is, do we just do anything else? And sometimes it's okay just to not use spend your pips, but I think it's reasonable to influence perhaps. So yeah, so we do nothing, and the reason is because if we influence the court, he could destroy our city and just get more trophies and take the card we influence. And so we just pass, content with just taking the initiative here. So with the initiative, we can do a construction card, which is what we decide to do. We use as fuel, and so now we're going back to our Sonic City. And now we can play our weapon, and now we have 3 battle actions we could do, or repair as well. And we can kind of decide what we do as we go. And we also decide we're going to spin a psionic first, just to build one more ship. And so now we're seeing the power of using weapons with fuel. So now we can do a skirmish first. So we have 3 fresh ships. So we just want 3 hits right here. So a little above average roll is what we're hoping for. And we get it. We actually get 4 hits. So we needed 3, we got 4. Now we get a trophy. We can now use assault dice without fear of doing an intercept. So we're just going to roll 5 assault dice here. Another option is to do less. And so here we decided just to do 3 and 2. One reason for this is that we don't want to do a lot of self-hits. And so if I do 3, the odds are doing 1.5 self-hits. And so I'm hoping for just 1 self-hit here. And that's what we get. We just get 1 self-hit. We do enough damage to wipe out the fleet. And we don't go overboard. We don't need to do a ton of damage. Like 5 assault dice could do 6 or 7 hits. But also do 3 or 4 hits to ourselves. So we just want to minimize self-hits in this situation. And then for the last action here, I think we just repair. Okay, so now we have a copy here, and so we just see a ship built, and he's just letting us have the initiative here, which is normal. He's not changing his mind here and taking it back, and that's a-okay. He's now influencing, and so he's going to pivot to influence, which is risky because he doesn't have the initiative. So while he does have a relic, because without the initiative, I could go in with one of my cards and influence the court as well. And so he's deciding whether to do Material Cartel, Secret Order, Court Enforcers. I think here Court Enforcers is probably the strongest, but if you're afraid that I'm going to go in and contend against it, he may not want to do that. Here I play the 6. Knowing that he cannot surpass. He doesn't want to seize because he'll have no cards left, so I kind of have a free reign here. So I do 1 move and 1 influence in the court to block Secret Order. We now see a copy. Here we're going to see, I believe, a move here. Yeah, we're seeing move to the gate. So again, this could be threatening. But here we're just going to play the 3, and so we're going to do a couple moves here. So one thing we want to do is we want to get Secret Order. That's going to be helpful because we do want to go for Empath. We're going to do a move to the Relic Planet to get a city there so we can start doing Sonic Relic combo things. We're going to move our ships away from the gate, and we want to go to that other Relic Planet, the 2 building slot, but we forget that we already spent an influence, so we take it back. So now Tom has a choice to make with this aggression card, and he just moves. He's moving over to the 2 building fuel planet. He's fuel drinker. It does make sense for him to start getting double fuel by pivoting to tax or copying to tax on a fuel planet. And now we score. So Warlord, we get first, and Tom gets second, and then we tie on Empath, so we get 3 points each. And for the board, we're using the red icon just for the ties, showing that red has 3 points. That's just a fun thing. It's not official. But it is fun. We have our turn now with the second chapter. We're taking Secret Order. We get 1 captive. Now, we get it after we declared, so unfortunately we still have to put the ambition marker on, so it's a 0. We now reveal that admin union's in the court, and now Tom has to decide if he's gonna surpass or not. He should have an aggression card, and he does. He has the 5 here. And so now the question is, do you go back to your city on the material planet in cluster 3? Do you try to attack somewhere else? We forget to return our trophies, so we return those back. So if you look at the board, I'm blue, so I have 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 11 ships on the map. Tom, the white player here, has 1, 2, 3, 6. So that's a 5 ship difference right now. So you can continue to push the issue by being aggressive. So I could have potentially gone in to attack Tom in gate 3 instead of trying to secure a card and just continue to wipe out his fleet and wipe him off the map. But that's not always what you want to do. But that was definitely an option. I could have just continued to press the advantage using my 5 ship advantage, making it 6 or 7 ship advantage. So he's blocking the gate, which makes sense. He's now rolling, and he gets a decent roll here. No self-hits, 2 hits, so he takes a trophy. So now Tom's leading with the 6. He's going to influence twice, but I think he decides to take that back. He keeps it there. So influencing there, it's risky. We pivot and just do attacks. Now we have our weapons and 2 psionics. Plus we have our aggression cards. So he, instead of leading with an aggression card, he leads with the construction cards. This is one reason perhaps to save your aggression card if you know you're going to influence the court. But he spends a relic getting court enforcers, and he's doing construction hoping that I don't go in to fight him. But the issue is I now have a weapons, and so I can play a construction card, surpass, use my weapon, and do at least 2 attacks. Maybe just 1 attack if I only have a 2 pip card here. But if I surpass, that's also another issue, is I can just surpass and then lead with an aggression card with 2 psionics. So I surpass here. I should build just 2 ships right here. That's what I should do. I should build a ship in the weapon planet in cluster 3. And perhaps I should build another ship, or maybe I could just repair. Okay, I decided to repair instead. That's okay. But now what I got to do is I do the 2, and then I could attack the weapon starport in cluster 5, or the material planet in cluster 3. I use a psionic first to move, and I do that once, and then I can... So I did the 4 here. I think I should have done the 2, and I think I'm rating the wrong thing here, because if I destroy the city, I get to outrage the court. So here I roll, I get 3 keys. I do destroy the starport. I do 3 self-hits. So that was... I could have done the same thing on the material planet in cluster 3, and I would have also caused material outrage and ransack the court. So ransacking the court here would get me material admin union, plus I get court enforcers. I would lose a ship, 1 more ship in the process, but that's way more powerful than what I did. Alright, so you see a pivot to tax from Tom. So he's getting extra fuel because of that. He's letting us lead again. And again here, I can still do what I want to do here. I could still play the 2 aggression to go to that material planet and do the same thing I did, but instead I play the 5 and move my ships away. And then I also influence the block admin union. But Tom now has a Sonic Relic combo, so he can spin that to take admin union. So that's one reason to play the 2 instead of the 5, is that I could just attack the material planet with a raid with a ton of ships, and then also get a trophy. There's a lot of reasons to do that. Now I'm not declaring keeper here We only have empath declared. There's a decent chance we're only going to have one ambition declared in this second chapter. And that's not uncommon, especially in a two-player game where it's very zero-sum. And you may not want a lot of ambitions declared. You may just want one or two at the very beginning. So we see a pivot here. And so Tom is letting us keep the initiative here. And then he did use his relic in Sonic to seize Admin Union. And now he's taxing again, restocking on his resources. So he has 2 fuel, 1 material. Because Tycoon is not declared, he's not going to have to discard his fuel, which will be nice. And so right now we have Secret Order plus a Psionic, so that's going to give us first place in Empath. We have Court Enforcers with 1 weapon, so we can easily snipe. And that's one reason perhaps to play the 2s, because we could have sniped that agent from the card with a battle action. So that's perhaps another reason to play the 2 last turn instead of the mobilization card. And so we move here. And we have 2 ships, and we're just using 2 assault dice, which is very risky here because of mirror plating. So we already get 1 intercept, and we do 2 self hits. So we actually do 3 damage to ourselves and 2 damage to white. So that was unlucky, but that was a very risky play just to get 1 trophy. So, yeah, I think that was just not... Those last 2 cards were just played out of order, not played well. But that's okay, because we're still winning here. And we see Tom had no more aggression cards, so we should have just played the 2. And he's just going to influence Material Cartel. And so, yeah, that's the second chapter here. And we got 5 more points here. Tom has 0 points because he has no psionics. And even if Tom did, because of the resource on the board, he would get 0 points because he would tie for second. All right, so now we're leading off with the 6 again. We're declaring empath, and we don't have to play the 0 marker because of Secret Order. Again, we could snag this Material Cartel agent. I think I just miss it. But I could have used 1 battle action just to take that agent off Material Cartel to get a captive. Now we see a copy here and a seize. Again, this is what we wanted to do by playing the 6, but the reason we played that 6 is because that's the only 6 we have. It's not because I necessarily wanted to play aggression. And so here, because he's copying, he's taking Material Cartel. And now we see Silver Tongues. Silver Tongues is a very strong card, especially in a 2-player game where it's either I have it or you have it. So we see the 2 construction play. We see Tycoon declared. With the cartel cards, it does make sense because if you can have the resources plus the icon, so I'm not in second place at all. I need to get 5 resources just to get second place. So that would be tough. And we see some building here. So that ship advantage is changing now. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ships on the map. Or 9, 10. And Tom has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now, like, the ship parity should be back to normal or close to it. And that advantage is gone now. So if I pressed it, perhaps I would still have a larger ship advantage. But because I waited, Tom's built more starports. He's built more ships. And instead of building ships, I'm just building up my cities. And one reason for this is because you get bonus points by having all your cities out when you win an ambition category. So my hope is that I can get my last 2 cities out. And so I'm building another... I'm building another psionic city for empath. Now there's no starports in cluster 5. So that is a weakness that if all those ships are gone, I can't get ships there quickly. Now I lead with the 2 here. I'm taxing a psionic. I should tax a relic as well. I tax a weapons, which makes sense. Yep, I tax a relic. And I can tax another psionic. But instead I just influence Silver Tongues. I think that's fine. I think that's okay. Tom has 0 psionic icons, and there's not an easy way for him to get any, so I think that's okay. But I do wonder, what is the other path here? All right, so we see the 6 administration play, plus we see admin union played. So admin union could be played on the 2, but Tom's decided to put it on the 6. And if you remember, Tom sees, so this is not giving Tom an extra card, but what it's doing is giving us back to the same parity for cards, so I'm not going to get an extra action. So we see tax of material, and I think we're going to see influence on Silver Tongues, but no, we just see a couple more taxing, but he thinks he gets the fuel, but he's not. He's surpassing, not pivoting, so he's only going to get a relic. All right, so we see that resolved, and now Tom is the initiative, and he plays the 6 again. So now he's controlling the tempo here, and tempo is important in ARCs, but it's particularly important in 2-player games. So here we see a double influence here, but then he realizes that I have 2 psionics. And because he led with the 6, I can use them to double influence and use my relic. So he takes it back because he doesn't want to give me 2 captives. But I haven't spent the psionics. I haven't spent the relic. And so he's giving me a free pass on Silver Tongues. All I have to do is spend 1 resource now to get Silver Tongues. Instead, I could have had to spend 3. So instead, Tom is just taxing a fuel here. And then now we see I spend my relic to get Silver Tongues. And we see Sworn Guardians in the court. We also have Galactic Bards in the court and Fuel Cartel in the court. So we pivot, or we copy the tax, and now we're getting another weapons. So we're getting our relic back plus a weapon. So we're feeling pretty strong here. We have 4 intercepts if we do trigger intercept. We have court enforcers. But now we have a raid. So because of how we have gone around the map and done other things, we have several liabilities. And one of them is this starport and cluster 4. So we're going to see 4 raid dice here. And we see a decent roll here. So we do have intercept, but it's only trigger once. And so that's 4 self-hits. Plus 1 self-damage. So 5 self-hits. So that's pretty brutal, but Tom is getting 3 keys. So here I should be discarding a weapon icon, but that's something I missed. So here I copy. I spin court enforcers. Then I realize I'm only getting 2 ships. And I decide, you know what? It's still worth it for 2 ships. So I still discard court enforcers. So I really should only have 1 weapon icon right now instead of 2. And now I can move. So I move. And I'm with a psionic. And then now I can do 1 fight. And so I can raid back. And so we're going to try to raid back Silver Tongues. Perhaps even our weapon. So I don't roll that well. I roll okay. So I get 3 self-hits. And I get 3 keys on 5 dice. So we do 3 self-hits. I have 3 keys. So I wanted my weapon back, but I realized Tom put it on his 3 key slot, which is frustrating because I need weapons. But it makes sense for him because he needs a way to do future attacks. And so I take Silver Tongues for sure, and then I can take a fuel or material. And I take the fuel. I think that's stronger here for me. All right, so we take that with our 3 keys. And now it's Tom's turn again. And so Tom could play, he plays 5-5, and we can't surpass that. And now he's deciding whether he wants to use a fuel and a weapon with it, because that could be pretty strong. Get 2 attacks. But we're definitely winning Empath. We're not winning Tycoon. But we do have Silver Tongues. And so the issue right now for Tom is that if he lets us keep Silver Tongues, we're going to win Tycoon. Just by using Silver Tongues to steal Material Cartel. So he's debating whether or not to use a weapon just to hurt our ships, but what he needs to do is raid our starport again. He can't take 3 self-hits there, so it is a risk, but that's what Tom needs to do here. He needs to raid again in the starport in Cluster 4, or maybe move somewhere else and raid. But that's kind of what needs to happen. We still have several liabilities. We have our psionic planet that's just 2 cities undefended. We have our weapon planet in Cluster 3 that's undefended with a starport and a city. So we're definitely vulnerable. But it may be too little too late here. So because we have our construction card, so we can build our last city. We can use Silver Tongues to get Material Cartel, which has 3 resources on it. So that card represents 4 resources. So that's going to let us win Tycoon. And then because we have Secret Order and our Psionic, we're going to win Empath. So now that's going to give us 5 points. Plus 5 points, so that's 10 points. Plus Empath, which is 6 points plus 5 points. So that is 21 points. We're at 11. That's 32 points. 1 away from winning. Now, me and Tom were talking a bunch, and I'll just tell you, I miscounted. So I thought I tied Tycoon instead of winning Tycoon. So I'm still going to have a big lead here, but Tom's calling out for help here. And this is where a rule is relevant to talk about, and this is one reason why some people are dissuaded from 2-player, because the rule is, if you feel like someone's really ahead and it's just not fun, just concede. It's okay to concede. And so I jump up. So I should be at 32, but I'm at 25. That's a lot of points. Tom is still at 5 points. We're in Chapter 4 now. If I just get second place on some of these, I'm going to win. I need 8 points to win. Really, I should need 1 point to win. But we're having fun. It's not a big deal. We've already made some mistakes. Tom is not giving up. Tom could concede. We talked about it, but I encouraged him, just try to see. And he said, you know what, I am going to try. So he's going all out. So he is using a weapon and fuel with a construction card. So he's going to move all his ships over to that starport that he should have possibly raided last time. And now he's going to raid it now. And he's going to bring more ships in. So he's deciding how many, exactly which way he wants to do it. So he's bringing those 2 ships, I think, from the gate in. And now he's going to roll a lot of raid dice. So expected result from a raid so he's going to have, I think, 4 ships here. You hope for 2. There's a possibility you get 3, but 2 is what you generally hope for. And you get Material Cartel with 2 keys. So it's reasonable to do 4 raid dice. So he's going to roll them. Hopefully he gets 2 keys. And he gets 5. He gets 5 keys. You got to play to your outs. And this was a super lucky roll, but it wasn't obvious. He didn't have that many aggression cards in his hand. And so he does give me some trophies. But now he's going to take Material Cartel for sure, and then some other things. And this is where I should be losing another weapon resource. Now he's taking away Secret Order because I was using it pretty extensively. And now the question is, what do you take? And he's going to take a weapon here, but this is before he realized that I shouldn't really have weapons at this point. And so he's going to do another attack here. I think on my ships, on his fuel planet down in Cluster 4. And again, I only have 1 weapon icon showing now, and so it really should only be 0 for intercept hits. But he's going to roll, and he does 3 self-hits. And so this is, we resolve it, and then I think he's going to do 1 more attack as well. So he's going to do another attack. And so he's doing 2 self-hits, and he has an extra self-hit than he should have, because I shouldn't have a weapon icon here. And then I think at this point is when we realize that I should be getting rid of my weapons with Agitator. And so it's okay. Like, it's okay to realize that you've made a mistake. Like, I didn't realize that I messed up my points until I was watching the video back. I think the main rule of thumb is, be kind, be considerate. I guess we realize the resource stuff later. But I play the 6 here, and I repair a ship, and I have no ships to build. So I'm kind of stuck on my ships. I can't build anymore, and Tom's noting that too. And so I kind of have to repair what I have. So I repair some ships. I have my cities out, so I just need to keep my fleet on the board. And this is where we realize that I should have been discarding weapons, and so he gets rid of 1, and then he realizes that he probably would have taken a fuel instead, so we just kind of unwind a little bit. So now I'm just going to have a psionic and a relic for my resources. And so he swaps it out, but I just say, like, look, I shouldn't have had that weapon in any case. So we fixed that. I have a psionic and a relic. I need to figure out how to either get fuel cartel or pivot some way to start winning ambitions here. And I also need to figure out what I'm going to declare. So I have 2 3s and a 2. I don't want Tycoon declared. I think, I'm winning in Warlord by 1. Let's go for it. I have more ships on the map than he does currently. I feel good about it. I really do think I can win Warlord here. So I declare it. We had a little issues with the mod here in that the pieces were stacking on top of each other, so the number was a little off. So I think I was winning by 2 at the time I declared. It's not a big margin, but I'm still winning, and now I get all my ships together. So I have 2 ships kind of in the corner with the Sonic City, but all my other ships are together. Only 1's damaged, but I'm Agitator. So I don't do intercept hits unless I have weapons icons. So they are kind of a sitting duck in some ways. And so there's a risk. So we see 5 played here. And we didn't necessarily want Tom to get the initiative here, but we wanted to declare another ambition like Warlords. That's what we did. And so we see the 5 played here. We could see a declare here, going for Keeper, but we don't see that. We see a ship built, and then Tom has 1 more ship he can build, or he could repair a ship. So he's going to build another ship, which makes sense. For us, we don't have a construction card, so we have to pivot or copy. So we could pivot with our admin card to tax. I think that's what I would do here. Instead, we just copy to repair, which is fine. Now we see another construction card. So now we're going to see it's declare. So that's one reason perhaps to seize, but we didn't really want to declare any of the cards we had. So now Tom is declaring, but we still don't have a construction card, so we can't surpass. And so now we see a catapult move to where all our ships are, which is concerning, and then he's taking it back. He's going to see 2 repairs here. And then I failed to mention this, but Tom now has a ship on our weapons city, and that's going to be very, very relevant soon. So because we have all our ships on the board or in trophy boxes, we can't build a ship there to kind of stop or prevent anything there, and so that's an easy way to get captives. So now we pivot. So now we're going to get a psionic and a weapons, and now our last 2 cards are aggression cards. But Tom doesn't have any more aggression cards, and we should have seized, and now it's too late to seize. And so this is where last turn we should have seized. We shouldn't have waited till this moment where we have 2 cards left and we realize, oh, Tom has no aggression cards. We can only pivot or copy. So now we're kind of in a bind. Now we're still winning Warlord, but we don't have any way to really get a lot of intercepts. So here I should have copied to tax. I should have gotten more weapons. That's what I should have done. I should have copied to tax to get 2 more weapons. Then I would have had 3 weapon icons for intercept hits. That would have dissuaded Tom from trying to attack my trophy ball of ships. Because that's what they are. They're just a sitting duck right now. I only have one weapon to do an intercept. So Tom's winning Tyrant. He's winning Tycoon. He has all his trophies, or all his cities up for the city bonus. We secure Fuel Cartel to try to contend against. But there's only 1 fuel on it, so Tom's still winning Tycoon. So, and then we move our ships. We move our ships down. So now it's Tom's last card, and we're hoping it's an aggression card. But we have the 2, so even if it was an aggression card, we could only get 1 action pip out of it. So we've played, again, the last few cards very poorly here. And now Tom has to decide how he's going to stop us, because we're still winning the game. Tom has to win all 3 ambition categories to win. So he has to find a way to do it, and this is how he's going to do it. He's going to use a fuel and a weapon combo again. And one reason we got Fuel Cartel was that we could discard it to steal fuel from Tom, because Tom has 2 fuel. But we don't think about the fact that Tom can just spend his 2 fuel. And that's what he's going to do. He's going to spend both his fuel with his weapons to move the last few ships he has. So it's 3 ships against 6 is what this battle's going to be, but with only 1 intercept hit to worry about. So let's see what happens here. So he's going to have 3 ships, and then he's saving his 2 ships by the material planet with the starport because he's going to try to do a raid as well. Because those fuel are coming back to me, so we would tie. Right now he's allowing me to tie in Tycoon with this plan, but he has 4 attacks. So he's the first attack, he's going to do a raid. So 3, or not raid, assault. So it's 3 assault dice. He rolls somewhat poorly. So 2 self hits, 2 hits to me. Not great, but he can decide where they go. So he takes a trophy from me, and he does 2 self hits. Alright, so now we see a very good roll. So we see 2 more self hits and 5 hits to me. And again, this is what you play for. And then he's gonna roll again, and again, no intercepts. So the weapon, if I got more weapons, wouldn't have done anything in this situation. But he then takes all my ships except 1. So he took 5 trophies and gave me 3. So now Tom is winning. After we fix the numbers, I believe Tom is winning here. And then he can attack the starport and raid it. And so that's his last attack's going to be, is he's going to just do that. So he attacked, repaired, attacked, and attacked. So that was Tom's turn. Is he used all 4 actions very well with his resources, and now Tom is winning Warlord. So now it's our last action. There's only one way to win, and I didn't see it. The way to win, you do a raid on that field planet, and you get a 1 in 6 chance to get the double key icon. That's how you win. I didn't see it, so I end up just kind of doing a nothing turn. But that's the way to win here, is you just raid with your damaged ship, and if you have a 1 in 6 chance of getting 2 keys to steal a cartel card, and then you can tie Tom and get some points. But because of how this played out, Tom is winning all 3 ambitions. So even though I do get 2nd place in Tyrant, Tom's going to shoot up. And so even if I had 32 points, like we originally, like I should have done at the beginning, Tom is actually going to be way past that. So this was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed this game. Tom had a lot of fun too, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye.